Hey Moody Cruisers, especially my Yamaha friends. Today I'm making a video regarding my 2019 Yamaha 212X. The issue I've been having since the beginning of this season was the depth finder started giving intermittent results. So sometimes it'd be on, show me a depth, and other times just doesn't show anything. I don't get the COM error. A lot of people have reported they've had COM errors show up, but I haven't had that issue. It just drops out. The other thing I notice is that the background for the depth finder is a blue background. It starts flashing when I start having this issue. Well, I'll show you how I replace the transducer. But right here along the side, it's blinking, and you can see that there's no response on the depth gauge. Now, on the other hand, the temperature gauge is showing 75. It's reading, but the depth is not showing. So the depth and the temperature are on the same sensor, and of course there's different signals coming back from that sensor, but at least the temperature portion of the sensor is working, but it looks like the depth portion is going to do the unboxing. My depth and temperature transducer. It's actually the DT820 model. My boat has a 20-degree dead rise, so the 820 unit works with boats that have 20-degree dead rise. I think it's like 18 to 24 or so that it works with. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. Got it, and I also have a harness that allow me to use a standard depth transducer rather than the Yamaha specific unit. The Yamaha specific unit has a connector that is proprietary to Yamaha. So save some money by buying the standard Airmar 820 and then a harness unit. And the harness unit comes from JB Solutions. And here's what you're going to find. So inside a little paperwork, talking this case because I've ordered it from the GPS store, some Garmin sales literature, and then inside the box you're going to see a cable likely on top, some packaging materials. The cable is attached to the Garmin depth and temperature transducer. This is again the DT, which is depth and temperature unit, and it comes with a connection. This is an NMEA 2K connection, which just means that's the standard to which it was built. So this is a very standard connection. So likely this unit is used in a lot of different boats, and with the NMEA connection. So because my boat is a Yamaha, and they wanted to, of course, own that part and the aftermarket for that part, they built their own connection. Now, there are some other parts. This part is actually the through hole. So if I was going to be installing this for the first time, I would need to install this through hole. I'd need to cut a hole. There's some instructions in there. I'm sure they tell you how to go about it. There's also some good videos that Airmar has on how to go about it. And I'll put a link to the Airmar videos in here on how to install this. But I won't need to do that. This part is already installed in the boat. I just need to pull the old transducer and drop in the new one. There's also a fitting. This is in the event that for some reason you have an issue with transducer, you need to pull it more long-term, but you need to use your boat. So there's a blank, a plug that you can put in. That's sent with it. We won't be using that today. I already have one of these from the original, one of the blanks. And then this is the harness. So I haven't opened this up yet. And then we're going to pull the harness out from JB Solutions. I appreciate the guys at JB Solutions. Told them I was going to do this. They were willing to send this over to me for use in making a video on how to install it. So there's the harness. You can see now there's 3 connections. This is the connection going to connect to my transducer, and this is the connection that's going to connect to my boat harness, is what I'm expecting. So, and then this I believe is actually extra, so that if you have some other device, you can connect it into this harness as well. But we'll see as we're putting it together. This transducer location is, I'm sure, very similar to many of the boats. Real quick, where this is located on the boat. So this black section right here, the outer section is going to stay in the boat. I'm not going to remove that. That's the, if you were doing a new install, you'd have to cut a hole and do the install. But the center section, it's going to pull out when I get this depth transducer out from the inside, but it pulls out from the inside. So there it is from the outside. We're going to come back up. So in my boat and in most Yamahas, it's going to be underneath the back tray. The back tray may look different, and you know, depending on your boat, your access to the depth transducer may be better or worse. So there's typically this access port, and in this access port, you can see right now just a big muffler. That's for the port side engine, or sorry, the starboard engine. Transducer that we're after, you can see a tag down there. Let's see, it's a rose tag. That tag is actually on the transducer cable, and down underneath and around the this muffler is where the transducer is at. I understand getting this off is a little bit of a challenge. There's a few hose clamps I need to take apart, but we'll start by getting the screws out. Once we have the screws out, then we'll work on hose clamps. There's a hose clamp for this drain, and there's a hose clamp around the top of the clean out port on both sides. So those will have to come out, and shouldn't be much more than a screwdriver to make all of that happen. But you know, there's what you expect, and there's reality. So we'll see what happens here. So screws not too bad. We got, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 screws that had to come out. Next is hose clamps that are attaching the clean out tubes to this piece. And then there's also a hose clamp right here. All right, so a little hard, right there, that hose clamp, and that's the drain. So when water comes past your clean out plugs, goes in that drain, and then down, and that is an outlet on the bottom of the boat. And there, we'll take that one off, and there's a matching one on this side, right there. It shouldn't be too bad. You can see the hose clamp. Okay. Hose clamp. I'm going to drop the hose clamp down and just leave it in place. Okay, together. In case, probably want to take that out. All right, so you got that hose clamp removed. Fortunately, they come out of the tube easily. Alright, so that feels pretty good. And then if I can turn this thing, yeah, that way. But yeah, this part much more difficult than expected. Alright. Okay. Okay, finally we get the nut off. That's the plug. It's a pretty long extension, so that thing and the hose had quite the hold on it. I think when I put it back together, it should be fine. Some battery in a minute, but we will see. Okay, that's nice. Okay, and then the tray comes out. There is some remnant of sealant here. Honestly, there's lots of some sections here there isn't any sealant, so we'll clean that up as a part of this process. And then what we're looking for is to see, can I get to the transducer? All right, so, and we're gonna look down in here, and underneath the muffler, way down in there, is the transducer that we're going after, right? Some of you may have the dexterity and the arms of a gorilla to be able to reach around in there and make this happen without taking off this muffler, but I'm going to take off the muffler. Okay, first step here, I'm going to loosen up these hose clamps. So remember, there's two on this connection. Anyway, here we go. Then we're going to take a pick and get underneath the hose and pull it out of it. If we can loosen that up a little bit. Let's see if, yeah, that's going to get it. We're getting there. Okay, all right, and that's off. There's a bit of water in there. This is the exhaust, a little bit of water cooled, and then this is the exhaust tube. It's going to run out and around and down and out the side. So that's where that tube is going to, in case you're wondering. Next step is going to be to take off these bungees. So just has a couple bungees on the back side, and then we'll go inside and get the clamp. So it doesn't look too hard. And here, and these, I think I'm just going to pull down. It's got a little bit of a curve in it, so a little bit of a release there. Just push it away from the we got these hoses in the way, so basically, and my hand's gonna be in the way. All right, anyway, I think you got the idea. The other one, same kind of deal. Okay, they're both, now put those away. Now the only thing I need to do, at least in theory, is to release the clamp on the front. Should be enough play with this stuff to be able to pull that off. So we're going to go in the back of the boat, screwdriver, and release the clamp on the front side. Okay, as is always the case in boats, this stuff is in a really easy to reach spot. Actually, that clamp, the hose clamp I need off right there, and that will release this muffler. Okay, I think I'm going to try this a little different. Instead of trying to take off the one that's in the back and kind of got a whole bunch of stuff around it, the forward clamp looks a lot easier to get to, maybe a lot easier to get back on, much easier reach. So this one right here, and then it should come out the muffler and clamp assembly. So it shouldn't really be 6 of one, half dozen the other. And with the stubby screwdriver, apologize, this is in the way here. Okay, so there's the drop. If you don't have a drop, then you're not trying hard enough.
That's got us. That should be plenty of loose. Okay. Now, we'll use our pick here and do the same thing over here. I went around the underside. Now the top should be able to get it to scoot back. I guess I'll have to twist on the other side, so we're going to go twist the muffler a bit, see if we can get it loosened up. Next job is, yeah, pull this out. And see, we had a loose, broke loose good, so she's going to come out without too much trouble. I got a lot of hose here. Got the scupper hose, so let's pull that back a little bit. Kind of give in it, and we lose some water out the muffler there. Not quite sure how far that goes. All right. But we got some water coming out of the exhaust system, so that's cooling water. Now I might want to take off the other clamp, because I'm not sure how flexible this is going to be at coming out. Doesn't look like it's too flexible. See if I can shove that forward. Okay, gotta see the exhaust pipe coming through there. But I'm just going to take off the other clamp here. Alright. Okay, I got it back up there. This should be pretty loose. Pull this strap on out. I'm gonna get a bigger screwdriver, long screwdriver, to just try to push the hose off. Okay. There we go. To put this back together. Okay. Now that I have the hose off, okay. Next job is to try to finagle the muffler up and out of here. Okay. That looks like it's kind of wants to come. There we go. Drop down. Oops. I can see this. Basically, I got it to come back, tilt down, lift out. Right, and then the muffler assembly is out. And now, access to the Airmar depth transducer, very easy. Okay. So next steps are going to be to take off the safety wire and then unscrew the top, pull it out, and get it ready to go back in. Okay, I'm gonna grab my bungees. So first step is we're gonna take off this safety wire. Should be going through another piece over here. Kind of feel it. Let's see if we can pull that through. Not sure which direction that's going. Ah, okay. It's coming up. That's what direction it's coming. It's coming up towards me. And I think it's a piece kind of like on the other side. This one is also going to come up towards me. And of course, this safety wire is here because if this moves out of your boat, you have a hole in the boat, and you're going to be taking on a whole lot of water. So, safety wire is there to protect you. You want to make sure you get it back in there. Back at it. And I will tell you, in all reality, right, I'm going to put on the new safety wire, so I don't really need to say this. I could be just cutting the safety wire It'd be a whole lot faster. But I don't know. I mean, the one thing, if you take it out like this, you can kind of see how they routed the safety wire, which gives some help when I go to restring it. And then the next section of this is wired to the hull component. So like I said, we're going to replace this, so I am going to, and then we'll just pull that out. So there you go, safety wire is out. We're ready to unscrew the top, and hopefully that's not too big of a deal. Nope. All right, so you see that? Just unscrew the top. We're at the top, and the transducer should just pull out. Okay, so now we can see the transducer. I have a yellow O-ring on this transducer. There is a flap. This is the flap. Looks like it's all in good shape compared to the other one. I can feel there's a bunch of the dielectric grease in there, so that's good. I think this thing is actually I don't know if it's grounding something or what, but there's a copper piece there. It doesn't fit, and this, as far as directional, let's see, I don't know that I would say it didn't feel like it's going into a slot, so you could turn it the wrong way. Important thing here is it came out, pointed forward along the keel. It's going to go back in the same way. So next is pulling the cable out. I'm going to just drop that in the bottom of the boat and start tracing the cable around. Okay, so there's a lot of cable. The new one came with a lot of cable. Try that. This is over the top of the exhaust tube. Then there's a hole in the bulkhead right here, and that's where the cable's going through. So we're going to go find that cable and pull it off of the box in front. Okay, here's where all those wires are coming through, including the wire for the depth and temperature sensor. So this is the wire for it. And then just behind the blower is where they put the various connectors. Okay, so we're looking for the connector for that black thing, which now I wish I hadn't pulled it all the way out. It's easier to pull forward. This is the connector we're looking for, and we're going to release that connector. But anyway, you can see this connector. I'm going to need to use my thumb, push on this side, and then just pull the back bodies apart. So I'll do that so you can kind of see what we're doing here. I'm going to pull those apart, right? So I have the male and female. And this plug, let's see, looks like the big female staying with the cable. So we're going to pull that then through the hole. All right, so just want to make sure you can see the hole here that we're going through. So this is just back behind. So here's the blower unit. There's the harness, the blower. I just pulled that back, and I am feeding it back through the hole. All right, I'll pull it out the other side. So the next step, we're going to plug the harness into the boat harness, and plug the small T harness. This is the adapter harness from JB Solutions into the boat harness, and then string that through the back of the boat. So this is ready to connect to the cable that is coming off the new transducer, which is the standard NMEA 2K DT820 transducer. And I can put the part numbers in the description so you'll know, so you'll have the part numbers available. And also show you that the transducers have, the current transducer
and the new transducer have the same part number on the body. So it is definitely the same transducer. So anyway, I'm going to connect these up, simple, and then slide that back through that hole. Here's your harness coming down. Here's the transducer that we're going to connect to. So we're going to connect back female end into the male end off the harness. We're going to run that behind the blower. These are both ends of the T harness. All right. So we got both ends of the T harness behind the blower. I think I'm going to hold this out, and I'm going to run part of the transducer to here because it's getting me just about to the hole. And I will string it through because the harness on the other side, the transducer has a lot of cable. So I will string the transducer cable through, connect it on this side, and then kind of pull it back so it's up and out of the way. And this end, we're gonna let float. That's for extras, right? All right, here's the tabletop comparison of the two transducers. This is the one I took out. The part number on the body. Here, let's see if I can zoom in close there. You can see it says 20-635-01. You may or may not be able to see that. But anyway, that's what it is, 20-635-01. 20-degree tilt. The new part, also the body says 20-635-01. It's a 20-degree tilt, so those bodies are the same. The primary difference is this connector. So this is the connector for Yamaha. This plugs right into the harness that I just unplugged this from. And this one uses an NMEA 2K standard connector. So that's the difference. And what JB Solutions has done with the harness that I just plugged into the boat is adapted from this 5-pin NMEA to the Yamaha 4-pin. So just laying them out here on the floor. The Yamaha cable is on the left, and the standard NMEA cable here is on the right. And it looks like the cable with the standard unit is about 20 feet, and the cable for the Yamaha unit is about 10 feet. And the 10 feet's about 3-4 feet more than needed probably, but I'm sure Yamaha maybe has a few other applications. The length isn't an issue, it means more cable to deal with. So I'm going to wrap it back up, put a nice coil, put some wire ties on it, and we should be good to go. I'm just going to do a little final cross-checking before I put the new transducer back in. This is the old transducer that came out. You can see it's got the dielectric gel in there, mainly to lubricate the O-ring. So I'll put that on, and this O-ring. So there's a black O-ring down in this area, and I got yellow O-ring here, and I have black O-ring here. We're gonna just slather some dielectric grease on here. Come back, use my finger. They have this on an Airmar installation video too. So, like I said, I'll connect that. It's about reinstalling. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut that open. So I have the safety wire ready for the next step. Other hand here, and we're gonna slip our new transducer in. Oh, goes in nice and easy. We're gonna rotate this keel arrow to line up to be parallel to the keel. This is a 20-degree tilt, so it's important that you line this up. That makes sure the element inside is aligned correctly for the dead rise of the boat. I'm going to use both hands just to make sure. Turn it around the other direction. Oh. And that feels pretty kind of tight.
Okay, so now I'm going to put in the safety wire. All right, now we're moving the safety wire in, and I'm going to double it back around. And yeah, that, so I have a little pigtail to wrap with. Okay, so I'm around, and now I'm gonna wrap the pigtail around. Next, I'm going to come up through this piece. That will keep it from unwinding, unscrewing. Right, so sorry, not sure you're able to see this. There you go. So we went through, we doubled it through, wound the pigtail. Now we're coming around this side, and we're going to go back through and double it through the hole as well. And then I'm going to come back and okay, so we came around there, up through, there is a hole, this hole just to keep it out of the way. As you can see here, I have the wire ties on it because I just hate having stuff just loose and flopping all over the place. I'm going to come around that here. I'm going to come around with the rest of the cables on their side. And now I've pushed the wire connection through to the back of the boat. So now I'm going to go into the engine bay and reconnect. Okay. So here's the cable I just pushed through with the NMEA 2K connector, and it's going to connect in to the male connector right here, and then we should be all finished with our transducer connections. A little pin and a slot, a slide and a slot, and you're going to just rotate that around till you get them to slide together. Once they slide together, you can just run the connector down, and that should do it. And now your cable's good. You can push it back through a little bit if you want it out. And I think that should look pretty good. I'll know exactly where it's at. All right, folks, we're ready to put the muffler back in. We'll start snaking that down in there. Okay, so first of all, to go around the muffler, we have these two bungee straps. Here we go. You can see the slot, and get the other one in. I'm going to lay them back out of the way. Okay, so we're getting onto this. I'm going to finagle this baby in there. I'm going to drop the back end first. Roll the pipe around, then get the front on. These hoses that are a little bit complicating things. Not too bad. Put that on, and use this to drop around. Let's see, this hose not in the way. This is the only hose that's kind of problematic. Okay, get it to drop down in. Now we gotta run that thing forward. Okay, got it almost on. Just gonna work it back and forth a little bit. And to the end. There we go. Got it to spin all the way forward. Once you got to spin all the way forward, then the hose is moved on to into the front. Snake my straps around. Snake this strap around. why I put the far side straps on, because we will try. It's not too bad. Anyway, right there we go. That one's in. And just grab it back a little bit. And that one's in. And that's not really in. It's in one side, it's not in both sides. And make sure it's really in there. Okay, now it's in. Let me check this one. Yeah, you can see the bar coming through. You can see the bars. Drop this back on. At the seat. And we're going to run these clamps forward. We're going to use an 8mm socket and just run that down. I have a driver that's not so tight that we're going to cause any problems, but tight enough. All right, that hose is back together. All right, so now we're going to go back into the engine bay and tighten down the clamps that are on this baby. And there we go. Now we're in the original groove, and we should be able. Okay, and I'm gonna check that one more. Okay. Wet storage shelf back in. Then we'll need to hook up the clean out port tubes. These clamp on each side, one clamp. And then we got our clamp that we're going to put back on for the drain tube. Okay, so we're just going to slide the drain tube in. And yeah, some of you may be wondering, am I not going to reseal this? Yes, I am going to reseal it. I'm not going to reseal it tonight though, because I don't have any sealant. So I will reseal that at a future date. So there you go. This through. I've already pushed it onto the hose. It's already reseated, and I'm just tightening up the plastic nut underneath now. Just gonna get this clamp positioned kind of where it was at before. So there we go. Drain tube is on. Okay, next is the clean outs. Let's see. Yep. Need to move the other one back up too. So you want to be pretty close to the top because the plastic drop isn't very long, right? So make sure you're on the plastic drop when you're retightening these and not below it. Otherwise you'll just pull it in. You'll have a tough time getting your clean out plugs in. I am up. Should be plenty tall now. There we go. There we go. Okay. All right, final step is to get all of our screws back in. We can do this without losing anything. Okay. All right, we are locked and loaded and ready for a test. Getting a little late for a test, but not too late for me.